Morning, everybody. Sorry I'm late. The sim decided to have a little moment, so I had to restart it. But that's okay. We're here now. How you all doing? We're back on VATSIM, for better or worse. I feel like last time went okay, really, on our little trip back from Ibiza to Gatwick. I mean, we were on Unicom the whole way, which is possibly why I came away from it feeling like it went okay. But I think it was an important flight because, I don't know, leading up to it, there were several times prior that I thought, you know what, maybe we should go on VATSIM for the stream, or maybe I should just do a VATSIM flight and record it this morning. And then I was like, oh, but there's nothing online, so there's no point. And actually, I really did quite enjoy myself on Unicom. It's just, you could still see all the other planes. It felt like you were part of something. So I think the takeaway from all of that was that Unicom isn't necessarily a bad thing, if that's all it is. Which is good. Which is good. So we are running the freeware version of Alicante scenery, available on flightsim.to, and I picked up some scenery in the Black Friday sales. So we've got the, is it Pilot Plus version of Bristol? So we're going to give that a look. I've literally installed it just before I went live, so I hope it all works. Hopefully we don't get like a crash to desktop as soon as it loads in as we come in on final. That'd be sad, wouldn't it? But anyway, that's the plan. We're going to head over to Bristol from Alicante and we'll check out the scenery. It looks really good from the photos, and I've seen sort of various videos about it and whatnot. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed it's all good. So that's weird. I can't see any of the chat. Why isn't the chat refreshing? If I load it up from another window, I can see it. Let me refresh. Maybe that'll do it. That's better. I can see you all now. Sorry. So who have we got in? Simon, Frug, Spuds, Albapino, Nuclear, Andrew. I think that's everyone. Have I missed anyone? Nice to have you all here anyway. Nice to see you all again. So yeah, it'd be cool to check out the Pilot Plus scenery. I picked up a little bit in the sales. I picked up Bristol on, what was that? That was on Orbex. Then I got, what did I get? I got Edinburgh, I got Dublin, and I got Manchester over on, what's it called? Contrail. That's it. I still feel like I'm getting used to all of the places that you should buy this stuff from. For VATSIM, use base models and the traffic injection from fly-by-wire. If you mean from fly-by-wire, do you mean FSLTL? Because that's what I'm using. I'm using FSLTL. So I've got that running that looks at people's call signs and then injects the appropriate livery. So if someone's like Easy 142, then I'll get an EasyJet plane. That's the idea. I mean, I don't know whether I'm doing something wrong. I'm a little bit new to it, so it's possible I'm not fully on the ball with it. Oh, Spuds, is that you? Nice. The only problem is that obviously people can't see me in my livery. Obviously, looking at what we've got on the screen at the moment, I can see it and you can see it on stream. But anyone else that's in the sim, I don't know. I could be loading in as anything, some sort of placeholder livery, I guess. So I'm going to. I was going to write to the people at FSLTL and just be like, hey, is there any chance I could submit my liveries to you? I found the design files, so I'm going to have a look at those. Hopefully it won't be too bad. I don't know whether they're Blender or Photoshop or whatever. I haven't actually looked into the detail of it yet. Get that submitted. But then I guess I would need to tell them what my kind of call sign prefix is. So like we use an X-Ray Alpha November at the moment. But that's like not official. Like VATSIM haven't said, oh yeah, that one's yours. Like I'm just using it. So I don't really know where we would stand in that sense. Morning, Rob. 8k subs. Are we? Let me check. Let me check. I thought it was 7.9 last time I looked. Oh, no way. Yeah, we are. Sweet. Well, thanks, everyone. Road to 10k. So let's have a look at the departure. Spuds, where are we? So we're going to use the Mito 2C, I guess you would call that. I'm never quite sure how to pronounce these departures and arrivals. It's Mitos, isn't it? Or Mitos is where it's got its name from. But yeah, that's the one. Mito 2 Charlie, we'll call it. So it's out of Alicante. Do a left sort of semi-teardrop out over the sea, a little bit of a kink, then we over to Sumo, and we make our way up. Not a million miles away from Barcelona. I don't know if we'll be able to see it. Probably not. And up over France, over Brittany, over Plymouth. Is that Plymouth? No, it's not. Never mind. Plymouth's in there, isn't it? Past Exeter, over Exmoor, then up the River Severn. When we get to Bristol, we're using the BRI-1 transition, so we're basically going to head over the Bristol airfield, do a left, teardrop out, and around and in. That is the plan. Morning, Nick. So that is the plan. Not entirely sure we can get a good landing today. Number one, we're in the Fenix A320, which I still consider myself very bad in that plane. I feel like everything that we've learnt in the fly-by-wire has been overwritten. Also, what's the weather doing at Bristol? Uh, 0405 knots, that's okay. I mean, Bristol's usually a bit on the windy side, of course it's on a hill, isn't it? And there's a kink in the runway, which I'm led to believe that, A, I think the sim by default models and also this new scenery that we've bought does also model. So, there's that. Just looking at what's online. Nothing. And of course, the one day we decide not to go to Gatwick Tower's online already. Oh well. Oh well. Never mind. We'll use this as a chance to check out Bristol's scenery. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. Okay, let's get the jetway in. And let's do catering.
Catering vehicles are on their way.
Let's jump in, have a look. I've almost forgotten how to start this plane. I haven't flown it in so long. Okay, so first things first, batteries, right? Battery number 1. Battery number 2. Let's use the external power. Right, let's load in the Fenix app. See what's going on. Tap to import from SimBrief. There we go. Alicante to Bristol. Okay, ground services look good. We've got the GPU, we've got the chocks on. So we've got 157 planned to be on board. Fuel planned is 2,450 kilos. Is that enough? Oh, that's cargo. I was going to say that seems low. Fuel 8,996. That's much better. That's what we want. Blimey, I don't think that would get us to Barcelona, that would it? Oh, is it saying flaps 2 in the performance thing, Spuds, is it? Right, let's load the aircraft. We're not going to do real time. Equally instant feels like a cheat. Let's do fast. Yeah, I'm quite keen to see what Bristol's going to be like. Like I say, I've gotten this far with the channel and I've not bought a single piece of Payware scenery. So I figured it was about time. I think there are certain airports that could really benefit from it. Like by default, Bristol is very, very primitive. Very primitive indeed. But obviously we've got the freeware Gatwick. This is the way I was looking at it. We've got freeware Gatwick. Heathrow out of the box, if you've got the premium version, is pretty good. I know there's the INI builds now, of course, and fair enough if you want that. Stansted, again, a bit basic out of the box, isn't it? So if you wanted to go any builds on that one, I guess that would make sense. And Dublin was one that I wanted to get sorted because obviously those of you that saw the VATSIM video in Dublin, I'm not saying that what happened was the scenery's fault. I don't think it was. Actually, the controller that was online that night emailed me. Very kind of him. And attached a little map and showed me where I should have gone. But nevertheless, scenery, I think, at least when we got to the gate, that was a bit lacking. So I've got the, is it the MK Studios Dublin version 2? That was on sale, 50% off. I also got Edinburgh. Because again, that was, I think, basically the dev that does Edinburgh and I forget what else it was. Yeah, Edinburgh was half price, so I got that. And I also got the Manchester. Yeah, Nucleus, super, super nice of that controller to reach out. Again, couldn't have been nicer as well. It wasn't like he emailed me, giving me an earful, being like, you silly person, why did you do that? Nice. So we're fueled and we've got cargo. So let's get the APU fired up. 1, 2, 3 on the navs. Not over your house today, Brian. No. Sitting here now, I'm feeling like I definitely need to be flying the Fenix more. Because, you know, you just get into like a flow state when you really, really understand something and there's no thought involved almost. It was... it's just muscle memory. I used to have that with the A320 to start it up. It's like bang, 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 and we're started up. And I'm in a similar place now with the 737 because we haven't flown this one for quite a while. See, I forgot to click the start button a few seconds ago. So apparently, Simon, Link 4 is like an... I think my mistake was I was thinking that Link 4 was like a taxiway. You know, a single point that you head to. Much like Hotel 1 is a single line that you follow. And Link 4, apparently the best way to think of it is like it's an island that can be accessed from either Hotel 1 or Mike 1, I think. And obviously from the other side as well, near the terminal. And the label for Link 4 on my charts, I think, was kind of throwing me off because the label was right on one of the taxiways. I figured, oh right, that'll be Link 4. I'll head over there, which is why I turned left and then turned right to get to it. But of course, what Link 4, that label, was trying to do was saying this general area is Link 4, and I should have gone straight over it. So Hotel 1, keep going straight. And then you have the terminal that would then be on the right side of the aircraft. You just kind of follow that round. And then stand 125 would be straight ahead, almost, at that point. So yeah, I think fundamentally I was misunderstanding what Link 4 was. I thought it was like a taxiway. A single taxiway that must be followed, but it's not. It's an area. And I was entering that area from Hotel 1, and actually listening back, the instruction was Hotel 1 straight ahead, so straight over Link 4 rather than turn left on it. Oh, no worries, Spuds. Well, don't worry, I'm going to be a minute here yet anyway, so like, if you want to, don't think I'm going to rush off. There's no mad panic. Okay, let's get oxygen crew supply on. Emergency lights armed, no smoking lights on. I can't believe that switch is even still there. That does make me laugh every time I see that. Oh, the website's going alright, Nick. So there's a bit to talk about there, actually. I wrote a little script the other night. So I made a database of all of the airports that are kind of the airports that Airnot is going to visit, if you like, all around Europe. Not to say that's not going to grow over time. We, hopefully we'll add some American ones and New Zealand and all the rest of it. But I'm starting with Europe, starting small, and then we'll expand out from there. So what I've done is I've got my airports, and I've written a little script where certain airports I've marked as being a hub, and then there's certain levels to the hubs. So for example, Gatwick is like a tier 1 hub, which means that Gatwick will serve every destination in Europe that we fly to. A tier 2 hub, say Dublin or Manchester, will serve about 2/3 of destinations that we fly to. A tier 3 hub, say Bristol, would maybe do 30%, a third of the destinations. There's also a... Oh yeah, I can see you're a Ryanair now, Spuds, well done. There's also a tier 4 hub, which basically means it's like an overseas mini hub. So think Frankfurt, think like Amsterdam, think Madrid. And then there'll be routes in between those hubs, so like Amsterdam to Madrid, Madrid to Frankfurt, to sort of move stuff around logistically on the continent, which will then have connecting flights back to the UK. So this script has kind of gone through all of those kind of rules that I've set up, and it's generated me a load of flights based on that, all with flight numbers. So I'm going to publish those on the website, so anyone that wants to just fly one, they can. If you want to just grab our livery and do a flight, you're more than welcome. If you want to grab the livery, do the flight on VATSIM as Airnot, you're more than welcome. Loaded. Happy days. Alright, let's do some work on the MCDU. Yeah, I'm just conscious that, like, with the VA thing, it immediately throws up a barrier to entry to a lot of people. So I kind of wanted to make it as easy as possible for those that want to just casually join in to do that. There we go. So LEAL EGGD, alternate is Heathrow. God, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? Good times. Right, let's go to a knit. I feel like my sim is quite laggy today. How you getting on, Brian? You okay? Great idea. Exactly what we do with Flight Deck to Sim and Alpaca Airways. What's that, Tim? They just put some routes up and you all do them together. Okay, NT345 is our flight number. What's our cost index? One thing that does interest me in general is GFO, but I don't know if that's a... Yeah, I don't know. Not a VA as such, just fly where you want. Yeah, okay, that's basically exactly what I'm going for, isn't it? Ah, gutted, Brian. I guess, would you still be able to see? Like, if it were a real flight, would you be able to see the plane in the sky? I mean, to be honest, Tim, if you wanted to take an A320 livery and fly it empty to New York, I'm not going to care. Yeah, it's all good. I'm not going to be like, you must fly the official routes. Just do what you want, have fun, it's a sim. That's the point of it. Cost index is 59. Cruising at 360. I have your liveries. Have you? How'd you get them? I've not once published them. Unless someone else has remade them. Again, don't really care. If they want to, they want to. Okay, what am I doing now? Okay, 0 fuel weight. That's what I wanted. 59, 0, 29.9. Ah, hit the wrong button. There we go, fuel planning. Did that second click register? I don't think it did. Ah, yes it did. Oh, you're rebuilding it all, Brian. Nice. Okay, into the perf. Morning, Dale. Alright, I think we need to go into the perf app, don't we? Departure performance. So we're using runway 28. It's dry, at least I hope it is. Oh yeah, flaps 2. You were right, Spuds. Almost always it says flaps 1. That's interesting. Okay, so 2 149s and 152. Start with that. Just so you all know, I have a terrible cold. So if the flight goes bad for any reason, that's the reason why. Is it 2/UP0.2, wasn't it? Should probably get Unicom on the go, shouldn't I, just so I can hear what's going on out there, even if it is just Spuds. Flex 2 temp is 64. So where it says like flex to temp and you put in 64 degrees, what is the thing that is 64 degrees? Like, what are we measuring? Never been sure about that. And the same with the Boeing, where we were calculating our what was it, the auto throttle takeoff. Thrust reduction 1050. Have we got that? /1050. Good. So next thing to do is look at our route. So we're going to depart runway 28. I'm using this one, isn't it? Mito 2 Charlie. Let's insert that. And then into Bristol. It's 09 on the ILS. Colder air burns more fuel. But what's the 64 thing about then? That's basically tricks the engines into the outside temperature being higher. Oh, right. Okay. So if the temperature's higher, the engines go, I don't need to burn as much fuel. Therefore you have a more graceful kind of takeoff and save fuel and less stress on the engines, yada yada yada. I do not want to do software update right in the middle of a stream. What am I doing? So what are we doing? The Toja 1 Bravo. Nice. Gotcha. Thank you. There it is. Toja 1 Bravo. Approach via BRI 1 we're doing, aren't we? Happy days. Alright, let's pop this into plan a minute. Let's make sure this is looking like it should be. Let's get the constraints on as well. Above 3,000 feet. Wow. Fairly steep climb. 220 knots. Out we go. Flight level 10. Over Exmoor, 240 knots. Well, dare I say it, that's looking like a pretty tidy little flight plan. Yeah, it's very similar nuclear. Ben gave us a hand last week with it, and you put in a temperature. I think it was something in the 50s or 60s. I forget what it was, but yeah, the value we got was from the EFB on the PMDG now. Alright, that's looking pretty good then. We've got a flight plan. We've got all of our performance data done. Let's pop that back into ARC. What's local pressure? Airports. Come on. .260 knots variable. Okay, fine. 1013. Oh, ideal. It's already at standard. So, let's get some charts on the go. And our SID is Mitos to Charlie. Pin that one. Then into Bristol. Toja 1 Bravo. That's the one. Pin that. Also pin that one. Pin both of those.
Alicante traffic, Fenix 7 Papa Tango on descent of 120, expecting runway 28 for landing.
I didn't catch a word of that. Anyone else? Alright, so where are we? Let's have a look on here. So here's us. So I recommend that I'm going to push back. Tail left, nose right. Then we'll go on to Charlie 3 via Delta. Then we'll hold at Charlie 7, I think. That ought to do us nicely. So basically, trundling along, hold at Charlie 7, then out we go. Alright. Alright. Let's get our beacon light on. So we're about to get ready to push back. Seatbelt lights on. Let's get GSX fired up because that can take a minute. No worries, Spuds. I won't be a minute. Where are you? There you are, look. What's your flight level, Spuds? Are you 360? Okay, we want nose right, tail left. Alright, I'm just going to make sure that our APU is on, because last time I did this, the whole plane shut off. It terrifies me every time I do it. Ground services, let's get rid of our GPU and our chocks.
Locking gear.
Morning, Adam. How you doing?
Start that wing.
Alicante driving to Reno 650, hold short to runway 28 on Charlie.
Get the flap set to 2 while we're waiting.
Please set parking brakes.
Oh, I didn't give clearance, did I? I never told him what I was doing. Yikes.
Waiting your confirmation for
I
a
completely
good
forgot to do
engine
that.
start.
Whoops. Luckily there's no one else around. Less than Lando. Hopefully Spuds doesn't mind. That was a rookie error. Yeah, it's all good, Nick. We'll do the yoke cam first, then we'll do map once we get going. Alicante traffic, X-ray Alpha November 345, taxiing to Charlie 7 via Charlie and Delta. Alright, we've got a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Alright, we can get rid of the APU bleed. Turn off the APU. Turn on the old yoke cam.
Tow track
Yes, Adam, it's the, what is it? It's the,
Bypass pin removed.
isn't it a Virgin Dreamliner?
Left is clear. Right
Well, obviously,
is
yeah, we
clear.
won't be doing that today. We'll be on the old-fashioned stuff today. Okay, let's just do a takeoff config. Make sure predictive wind shear is off. That's what I forgot to do. Two brakes max. Good. Okay, parking brakes off. Let's go and catch up with Spuds. On the way, Spuds.
Alicante traffic, Ryanair 7, Papa Tango, establish runway 28, 12 miles final.
I suggest we wait for them. For a freebie, this airport really isn't bad. So at least we'll get to do a little bit of plane spotting before we head off. Yeah, that's right, Spuds. That's alright, we'll grade the landing. Can't believe I pushed back without saying anything. That was very foolish of me. Luckily there was no one around. Absolutely, Clark. Yeah, it's a cracking little flight. Not a bad one in real life either. I can see the lights. I don't know what the scenery's doing here, mind. What's that all about? Anyway, cheers everyone. Here's to the coffee. Powering this flight today. Bump. Oh, 707, nice, yeah. Do that. That'd be awesome. Alright. What did I say? I was going to go Charlie 7, didn't I?
Alicante traffic, Ryanair 7, Papa Tango, short final runway 28.
How you doing, Spuds? Oh, that was a bit sharp on the brakes. But never mind. Right, where's this plane? tend to fly 738. Are the systems similar to the A320? When I first got the 738, I was very, very shocked at how different it was to the A320, because I came from an A320 first, really. Go on then, Captain. Let's do it. Let's do it. Does that go around? Or is that just VATSIM being weird? Oh, Spuds, thank you. Go on then. Alicante traffic, X-ray Alpha November 345, lining up runway 28 on the Mito to Charlie departure. Alicante traffic, X-ray Alpha November 345, taking off, runway 28, Mito 2C departure. Alright, let's go. Engines 40%. Thrust to take off any moment now. Yeah, loads of it. Rotate. Beautiful. Positive climb. Gear up. Levers back into climb. We'll fly this first bit by hand.
Elegant traffic right now, 682 is going to be taking off for 2 weeks.
Ah! Didn't do TCAS. Silly. Ah, second mistake of the day. Again, because I'm on Unicom, I'm like, oh, I don't need to worry too much. Actually, I do. I need to up my game, even though I'm on Unicom. That's why you're only on flaps 2, 7 knot wind. Only a 7 knot wind. So we've got our turn coming up. better to disable the autopilot and redo the turn, to be honest with you. That's better. It's much more fun when you do it yourself. Cheers, Dreamliner. I've got to be honest though, I feel like I'm not very good at this at all. Still feel like it's my bad aircraft, if that makes sense. Well, there we go. I have to do both sides as well, don't I? A big old turn. Right, autopilot on. Let's look out the window. Good morning, Will. Bad view there, is it? That wasn't so bad. A couple of errors. A couple of errors for sure. Symbol, they'll be posted soon. We're launching a new website with routes that we fly and daily routes that we'd encourage you to fly, and also deliveries will go online at that time as well. So soon. Cheers, Dale. Take it easy, mate. You want to see a Fenix A320? 80 even. Wow. Morning, Andy. Watched a few of your VATSIM episodes. Nice work. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I think the results have been mixed so far. That much is for sure. It's quite cloudy, isn't it, today in Spain? You want an A380 in MSFS? Yeah, don't we all? I predict that Dubai is going to be absolutely heaving on VATSIM as soon as that plane is released. wouldn't you say? Absolutely heaving. I'm going to keep an eye on the plane here because I feel like this is a bit of a tight one. Oh, it's redone it, that's fine. Bristol's clear today. Yeah, I was pleased to see that, and the wind looks nice and calm as well, because Bristol can be a bit windy, can't it, being up on a hill? I do love Bristol, it's a great airport. Lovely airport, really. Not too big, not too small, just right. So we've got the Pilot Plus scenery today for Bristol. First time I've ever used it. So we will check that out when we land. Haven't seen it at all yet, so I'm presuming it's all going to work. Fly-by-wire A380 has been on radio silence for a while. Yeah, I can totally empathise with their position. Because it's all for free. They're volunteers. So why on earth should they be held to any sort of account for deadlines? I can see it for both sides. I can see the frustration, people being like, but I want the new plane. It's like, yeah, but at the same time they're building it for you for free, so you can't really whinge, I suppose. Now, if it were a company that you'd paid money for, and, well, for a start, obviously until you've paid that company money, they don't owe you a damn thing. So somebody could say, I'm building an Airbus A350 and it's going to be $100. That doesn't entitle you to have it any sooner because you haven't paid them the $100 yet. If, though, they say, pay $120 and you can have the early access version and all this, that and the other, well then, you could kind of see, what is this plane doing? Yeah, you could almost see, like, if you were to pay them the money up front and then they're like, yeah, and when it's out, we'll let you have it early. But then they just don't say anything for like 2 years. Then I could see the frustration there for sure.
Alicante traffic, Iberia 301, Pushback, 22,000 58.
See, that's what I should have done. I made the mistake of pushing back without saying anything. That was very, very bad of me. I think the plane is just struggling to keep up with these turns. I don't know why that is. Is it our speed? Are we going too fast? See now, look, it's trying to turn right to get back onto the course, only then to have to turn left in like, any second. So it should turn left now, right? Oh, sorry, Adam. Good luck. Okay, it seems to be behaving itself a bit better now. What's it doing now then? So it should straighten up. Hopefully account for that wind. Well, that does seem like a bit much. Yeah, there it goes. Flight level 200. Coming up on 250 now, Spuds. DJ, no, never have. Never tried VR. I kind of feel like, as a creator, I'm not sure VR would be the best thing. Not sure. Now, if it's just me sat playing on my own, then yeah, it'd be great. But, well, maybe it would be great. I don't know. Never tried it. Bristol Faro, yeah. Let's do ND to Rose, we can see Spuds. Yeah, that's a good idea, let's do that. Whoops. Just trying to scroll. Let's make sure I've got my TCAS set right. Seeing an awful lot at the moment. Have I got my TCAS set right? I think I have. TARA. Does this look alright to you? We'll go to all. I don't know, Spuds. I think I was going off course a little bit there for a while. It was like the plane could keep up. It was behaving really weirdly with the autopilot on. I maybe should have flown it manually. No, I think you're right, Simon. I was expecting to see it as well. Maybe my squawk should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I've changed that to all. T-A-R-A is what I meant to say. Auto. I don't know. That's a bit weird. Cheers, Frog. Oh, that might be why. Spuds has gone a different way. That could be why. Yeah, we've gone different ways, Spuds, I think. Let me show you where I'm going. So this was our route out. Alicante, all these weird turns that confuse the plane. Up to meet us. And we're tracking the east coast of Spain. Over France, Brittany, over the, whatever this is, English Channel, I guess. Don't even know what it is. Up over Devon. Up to Exmoor. And then straight over to Bristol. Yes, Spuds, that may have been me because just after takeoff I realised I hadn't set my TCAS to TARA, and I did that soon after takeoff, which may have been what triggered the warning. Possibly that. So have you got any have we got any waypoints that are common? Like you're doing like AGN or Nouvelle, CNA. So where is it trying to get you to go after Spain? Like, what's your route through France relative to mine? Are you going to go up the Bay of Biscay? Salco. Oh yeah, so that's pretty close, isn't it, to Nozhu? if that's even how you say it. So yeah, maybe we'll meet up around there. I don't know. Hey, well done, 707. Lorient. Where's Lorient? It's going to be there, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so maybe we'll sort of catch up around Brittany area. Well, hopefully we'll get some views of the Pyrenees soon. I can't wait for the 777. That's going to be great for doing some cargo routes in. So far, so good. We've got a little way to go to the Pyrenees yet. Did you all see, I mean, those of you that are in the Discord may have seen it. Class don't look too promising. No, they do not, do they? Yeah, did you all see that there was this thing going around the other day? I put it in the Discord. Where is it? It's not in English, so I don't know what language it was in. Maybe German? But basically what this site did, they... Spud is on the normal route to Bristol, never seen your route before. Oh. And I just basically did what Simbrief told me. So I don't know. I don't know, that's weird. I'll pop a link in the chat in a second, Spuds. Hang on. Yeah, DJ, I think it's going to be awesome. That would be a good idea, actually, wouldn't it? That would be an amazing sort of collaboration. Yeah, if on Unicom, follow Beyond ATC. If Unicom, or if ATC comes online, then Beyond ATC gets pushed to the side. That's a brilliant idea. That would be fantastic. Clouds are starting to disperse, that's good. There you go, Spuds. There's a link. There's the Pyrenees. That's more like it. Yeah, what was I saying? There's this this site in Germany. I think it's a German site. It's a .de domain name. And I've translated it to English using my web browser. So obviously the results aren't great. But basically they've revisited Flight Simulator doing CPU benchmarks, because I was trying to find the other day Like, what is the difference in flight sim between the 5800X3D and the 7800X3D? I was like, is it a 5% difference? Is it a 30% difference? Is it a 50% difference? Because it'd be quite nice to know before I decide on what to do with my PC. And it turns out there's really not a lot in it, if their tests are to be believed. Yeah, DJ, yes, mine. Designed it myself. I'll pop a link to this thing in the chat, by the way. I mean, the takeaway, I think, is the 5800X3D. What is going on? What happened there? That's weird. Beds. Are you distracting you from your schoolwork? Yeah, I thought it was quite an interesting little article. If the numbers are accurate, 5800X3D, 7800X3D CPUs, there isn't a lot in it. But weirdly, going to a 7950X3D gives you quite a bit more, which surprised me because I thought that it was all about the single core, and adding more cores wouldn't really help. I mean, there's 0.1 of a gigahertz more. Very weird. See you later, Spuds. Spuds, out of interest, when you say you're stepping away from the controls, do you disconnect from VATSIM? Not yet, DJ, but there will be soon. I don't know if you were here when we were talking about it earlier. I'm putting together a website that's going to suggest some routes for us all to fly, like on a daily basis. So, like, if you were to log onto the website today, it would kind of say like what today's routes are. And if you want to fly one, you can fly one, either on VATSIM or offline, or you can just take delivery and do whatever you want. I didn't really want to make it too intense. I did think about going down the whole VA route with it all, but I don't know if I've got the energy for managing that all the time, more specifically. I figure an easier way is just to publish some routes and be like, here's what we're flying today. Here's delivery. Fly the routes if you want, or don't. Up to you. Yeah, those views are much better now, aren't they? So Barcelona shouldn't be... Is that it over there? Just under the wing there? I got a feeling that it's Barcelona. Found using TAA is better quality than DLSS. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely is. FPS. So have you got the frame gen on as well, Brian? Because frame gen and TAA work really nicely together. That'll probably take your 50 and get it up to probably near 100, I'd imagine. You want to see a 747? You've never seen one? What, in real life? Yeah, they're becoming few and far between, aren't they? I just feel very, very grateful that I got to go on when I did. I remember the first time we went to America. Virgin emailed us to be like, here's your ticket, here's your seat number, and you're going on an Airbus A320. And I was like, oh man, why are we going on an Airbus? I want to go on a 747. I was really gutted. As it turned out, the Airbus was great. I had a great time on that. And then a couple of years later, we went back to America, to Vegas from Gatwick. And we got to go on their 747. Really cool. Just so big. Just remember being so struck the whole time by how big it was. Does not apply with the 4090, or I cannot find it. What, the frame gen? You need to be running DX12, so where you select your DirectX version. If you're on DX11, you won't see the frame gen, but if you go to DX12, leave TAA on, and then just turn on the frame gen, so it will frame generate more TAA-like frames. It won't do the DLSS thing where it makes everything blurry, which is why it's such a nice sweet spot, because you get the frames and you retain the TAA niceness, if that makes sense, Brian. Well, hopefully when PMDG get around to releasing the 747, we'll be flying it a bit on the channel. I can't wait for the 777. And I know some people sounded a little bit, not annoyed, but maybe deflated that they're doing the 777-200 first, I believe. And a lot of people saying, oh, but I wanted the 300. So, well, actually looking at the routes that we're going to be likely to be flying in it, the 200 is going to be perfect. Managed to get on a crew practice flight. Nice. What sim are you using, Frug? Are you using this sim? Perth to Vancouver. 777-200, nice. Is that all in one go? I guess you could do that with no stops, couldn't you? Via Sydney, okay. So you taking a 777 to Sydney as well then, or are you going on a different, like a smaller thing to Sydney? Mind you, Perth to Sydney is still a pretty long flight in itself, isn't it? Is it common then in Australia to have the bigger planes flying internal flights? Or would they typically be serviced by like your A320s, 737s? Perth to Sydney is a Qantas A330. Okay, so that's still a big plane, isn't it? One that could probably do the second leg as well. Christopher, when you say headwind, are you referring to, is there an actual headwind, or are we in the headwind plane? Because we are not in the headwind plane, we are in the Fenix A320. The weather, okay. Let me zoom in on the ND for you. I mean, I guess technically it's a little bit of a headwind, but coming at us from the side mostly. Sorry if I sound a bit weird today. I feel like I sound like I've got a clothes peg on my nose. I thought I'd nearly beaten this cold. Like I went into work yesterday kind of thinking, oh, I hope I don't feel too ill at work, and I felt fine. As soon as I got there I was like, I feel great. Finished work, got home, sorted the kids out, and I just crashed. Like, absolutely, I just couldn't keep my eyes open. I just ended up in a heap on the sofa. I fell asleep. And I sort of woke up at about 9:30 in the evening. And just kind of crawled up the stairs, crawled into bed, put YouTube on the telly and fell asleep, and next thing I know it's like 7 AM in the morning. I feel a bit better today, but this is a sneaky cold, this one. They've still got some 717s. Wow. How about VC10? That's an old school airliner, isn't it? Full disclosure, I wasn't sure what a VC10 was, Brian. I had to quickly Google it. I feel like my knowledge outside of Boeing and Airbus is a little bit patchy. I quite like the idea of the MD-11 when that comes out for some cargo routes. That could be fun. So with, I guess the 717 would be now more classed as like a regional jet. Would that be fair to say? There is an MD-11 coming out, isn't there? Is it? Is it TFDI? Yeah, I guess that makes sense, 707, because it's easy, especially for me being a Brit, it's very easy for me to forget how big Australia is. It is absolutely massive, isn't it? We've got some Australian family and friends that we see occasionally, and I'm always struck when they get talking, like just how vast it is. Never been over there myself, but see you later, beds. Alright, it's coffee o'clock. Seeing as we're on VATSIM today, I bought my coffee out in a flask. Save me going in to make it. I guess so, if I were to need to go into the house for whatever reason. Obviously I'm out in a shed at the moment. But if I needed to get a coffee or whatever, let the dog out, I guess the procedure would be to disconnect from VATSIM and then just reconnect. That wouldn't be seen as bad form, I guess. That'd just be fairly normal. Whoa! TFDI MD-11 is $80. Pre-order at a reduced price of $80. Whoa, so it's going to be more when it comes out. Flipping heck, that thing better be good then. Cool plane though. Be nice to fly something a bit different like that. Be nice to have a tri-jet in the fleet. If you're in cruise, it's fine to step away. What, even when you're connected? Alright, we've made it into France. Disconnect if there was no controller. If there was a controller, you can advise them you'll be out of the flight deck for 10 minutes. Oh, okay. What's your call sign, 707? Are you, is it the Iberia 301? Is that you? If on ATC, just ask if you can step away, they're normally okay with that. Okay. And like you say, I guess if you're in cruise, you're more likely to get a yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I don't on the 5 mile final, be right back. auto land. Yeah, I suppose. I feel like we hardly ever auto land on the channel. Confirm that on all settings the frame generation is greyed out. Oh. Sounds like you're not alone, Brian. I'm just Googling it and there's some other people that are having similar issues. I'm just reading this one, Brian. So there's two components to DLSS. There's DLSS super resolution and there's DLSS frame generation. Now super resolution is the one you don't want. So you want that off, but the frame gen you want on. Someone said you need HAGS to be on, Hardware Accelerated Graphic Scheduler. And when you enable it, you need to do a PC restart, and when you turn it into DX12 mode, you also need to restart the game for it to then appear. Oh, no worries, Nick. Thanks for coming by. You have a good one, Nick. See you later. But as long as it's smooth, Brian, if you're happy with what it's doing, I suppose it's kind of irrelevant, isn't it? Just weird how it's greyed out for you. That is really weird. Sorry, the reason I've gone quiet is because I'm looking into it now. Right, how are we doing up top? Not doing bad. Another 500 miles to go, near enough. $707, you're over the Pyrenees now, right? Looking at VATSIM map. I think Spuds is heading out towards Bilbao. Never sure how to say that. Good morning, Lee. How you doing? Jolly good. So I'm just trying to read on the Airbus website about how to land this thing, because I always feel like I forget. I spend so much time in the 737 now, you forget like what the landing procedure should be. Like when to flare, when to cut the engines. Recipe for a safe landing. Be stabilized. Wings are level, speed is close to VAP. Aircraft is on its expected flight path. Flare should be initiated at 30 feet RA, or 40 if you're in something bigger like an A330. Okay. A few factors may require an earlier initiation of the flare, such as a steeper approach, increasing runway slope or rising terrain before the runway threshold, tailwind, or a high airport elevation. Flare correctly. Pilot flying should apply a progressive and gentle backstick order until touchdown. Pilot flying must avoid forward stick inputs once the flare is initiated. Pilot flying can gradually release the stick back pressure input if needed. The 20-foot retard call out is an order, is a reminder, not an order. Pilot flying must ensure the thrust levers are at idle.
Traffic.
Oh, traffic. I'm going to go ahead and just reduce altitude. X-ray Alpha, November 345, descending flight level 30. That was a bit flipping close, wasn't it?
Clear of conflict.
Okay, let's get back up to 360, shall we? A few indeed. I suppose that's something you got to keep an eye out for when you're on VATSIM. I mean, they were above us by quite a while, weren't they? I just wanted to get down a bit lower, just because it felt a little bit too close. That. Yeah, fair play to the aircraft. Then it had that covered, didn't it? Absolutely did. Yeah, so 707, that's what I've done. I've told it to transition on BRI-1, which basically means we fly directly over the airfield, do a left, and then sort of teardrop out over the water. And then come back into 09. You're exactly right. Yeah, I've got to admit, I've not been to Bristol in a little while on the sim. I used to fly in and out of there quite a bit, but I kind of found the default airport to be a little bit lacking, which put me off. And also it can be a bit windy and challenging sometimes, which made me run away like a coward. Yeah, not sure how this landing's going to go. I feel like I'm very bad in the Fenix. Very, very bad. Yeah, I picked it up last night or not last night, the night before, in the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. This is my first Payware airport that I've bought. Which isn't bad. I mean, we've been doing the channel now, coming up on 2 years. To have gotten by without anything, it's not bad at all. I think there's a bit of a culture maybe among flight simmers that you're not doing it right unless you have spent hundreds of pounds on all the airports, but I'm not sure I fully sign up to that. I figured I'd treat myself as it was Black Friday and the channel's making a tiny bit of money now, so I figured I'd put some of it back into the channel to make it better for everyone. Oh, cheers, Rick. Hopefully I don't disappoint. Yeah, so what did I pick up? I got Bristol from Orbex, and then I went onto the Contrail shop, and I bought Edinburgh, I bought Manchester, and I bought, what was the other one? Dublin V2. I figured after my fiasco in Dublin the other day on VATSIM, I should probably get some decent scenery. Might encourage me to go back, my tail between my legs. I think I might need to look at a new SSD, because I checked in my storage space this morning when I was downloading these airports, and I was like, oh, the little graph thing is red on my SSD. I've got like 50 gig left, and I'm adding airports to it, so I'm going to need to go and have a clear out, I think, or buy a new SSD. So I've got a 1 terabyte Samsung 980 Pro, which is a lovely drive. It's a NVMe Gen 4. Really nice drive, really good price at the moment as well. Morning, Stephen. But honestly, I'm tempted to swap it out for like a 4 terabyte NVMe Gen 4 and just call it done. One drive to rule them all. And then I could put my 1 terabyte in my PS5, because it's a Gen 4, that would be compatible with the PS5. Because we're running out of room on that too. I do have a second 1 terabyte Gen 3 NVMe, so a little bit slower, but in real terms it's still just as fast most of the time. And I thought, oh, that's okay, I'll move some stuff onto that tonight. That's also full. So I'm like, oh, we are properly full up, aren't we? Yeah, Jack, I think we're quite spoiled at the moment. I was looking around the other night and it's like, I think basically I'm going to start by getting the UK to a good point. So we've got Bristol. Hey, Tricky. We've got Bristol sorted. We've got Manchester sorted. We've got Dublin sorted. I know that's Ireland, but sort of UK and Ireland. And we've got Edinburgh. Only ones I might like to get in the future maybe would be Belfast, Stansted, East Midlands, and I mean Gatwick. We've got the freeway at Gatwick, which is pretty good for a freebie. And Heathrow out of the box isn't bad. I know it could be better, but it's not bad. So I feel like Gatwick and Heathrow are actually kind of taken care of. I think nuclear. I think what I need to do is get a NAS. That's what I could really do with. Especially with all like, because most of my footage ends up being recorded directly to the PC. And I do most of my editing in the house from the laptop, because I've got a MacBook to do that on. You got the freeware standstill. Oh, is that the one from FlightSim.to? Might have to look at that. I think as we get into cargo ops, I think East Midlands is probably going to be an essential one. It's alright, Tricky, I forgive you. Spuds is following along, as is 707. Although Spuds has gone the other way. Not entirely sure where Spuds is, actually. I think Spuds flew over you. I mean, Spuds took the other route. He went over over mainland Spain, whereas we tracked the coast and then cut over France. Call sign today, Tricky, is X-Ray Alpha November 345, I believe. Yeah, 345. Just looked on the map, I can't see Spuds anymore. Disconnected, maybe? Oh, Spuds, that's why we can't see you. Just thinking, I can't see Spuds on the map. I wonder what's gone on there. In fairness, we nearly had a mid-air collision as well. Somebody came whizzing over us. So there's not a huge amount at Bristol at the moment. There's one plane off to Innsbruck, I believe. Never mind, Spuds, it happens. Yeah, we're checking out the Bristol Payware scenery today, Tricky. I decided to pick a few bits up in the Black Friday sales. God, it's cold in this shed. Oh, hello, Sid. Yeah, it's getting on for lunchtime, isn't it? At least that's what my stomach's telling me. Back on course, might be able to land at Bristol. Oh, that's funny, Spuds. Alright, Brian, no showing off. It's never too early for lunch, Tricky. I feel like lunch is my most favourite meal of the day. I really do. I'm just such a sucker for lunch. Like, as soon as I get to work, it'd be like 9:03, and I'm immediately like 3 hours and 57 minutes until lunch. Just love lunch. So... Yeah, Tricky, it does get a bit cold. Normally it's okay. So when I came in this morning, it was especially cold. Like, the shed is really well insulated. I put 100mm of insulation in the walls, in the ceiling. But the shed is built on a concrete pad that's kind of obviously in the earth, I guess you could say. So if the ground freezes, which it did last night, I think, or it was certainly very, very cold. There was a frost. If the ground gets cold, the concrete pad gets cold, and then that concrete pad is like a cold radiator. So when I came in, it was 8 degrees this morning in the shed. With the PC being on, even after my hatchet job of a air ventilation system, it's now up to 17.8 degrees. So in the time that we started streaming, it's gone up by almost 10 degrees. But if I hold my hand up high near the ceiling, it's lovely and warm. Down by the floor, it's bitterly cold. Like, my feet are freezing. So I don't know, I was looking at like those, you see them in garages quite a lot. Like those kind of foam mats that almost have like jigsaw puzzle style edging that lock together. Like if you were to take your garage to like a car detailer, you know, where they polish your car up really nice. Quite often see it in there. Feels quite spongy under the foot as well. So I don't know whether that would just take the edge off. It might do. The other way to do it, of course, would be if I went... I'm considering a new PC in the new year. And I'm considering keeping the PC I have as a dedicated streaming PC. So if I put the streaming PC under the desk, I reckon it would heat it up quite nicely under there, which is the cold part of the room. The underneath of the desks is where the coldness is. Shalise, how you doing? So at the moment it's like concrete floor with chipboard laid on top of that, and then carpet tiles on top of the chipboard. Yeah, I have genuinely considered that nuclear. Well, that was something I was looking at, Brian. I didn't know whether we could get like a little portable... Because like I say, I've got thick chipboard that goes on top of the concrete. So I didn't know whether we could like get one of those like plunge routers, which I do have. And then sort of lay in some pipes. Maybe have like a little unit outside. I don't know. Yeah, no, it really does depend what you want to be using it for. I know that's a rubbish answer. But if you were strictly, let's say, a flight simmer, those. Now, full disclosure, that is an affiliate link, because I'm a filthy sellout now, of course. And I wouldn't recommend you buy that card in today's market either, but that is what I've got. So O'Neill, what I'm considering doing in the new year, I'm looking at building something new because I feel like I'm starting to outgrow what I have. I'm on a 5600X and a 3070, which has been great, and it's got us a long way. But I'm thinking in the new year, in January the 8th, Nvidia are widely expected to release some new graphics cards. On the day before the CES show in Vegas. Why is my plane rocking like this? I'm not touching a damn thing. Why is it doing that? Is it the wind? Is it reacting to the wind? Must be. Anyway, they're going to... they're going to release some new graphics cards. The 40 series Super is what they're expected to launch. So I'm going to take a view on what they are. Can I build one for you? Probably not, O'Neill, no. I'm not really in the business of building PCs for others. You can try and post a link, Tricky. Whether the YouTube thingy will let you do it is another matter. But as far as I'm concerned, you're welcome to. Right, how far to top of descent are we? Not very far. I mean, of course, O'Neill, it depends what your budget is as well. I mean, I suppose probably the best PC would be Nvidia 4090 with either an Intel 14900K or a 7800X 3D if you went AMD, with a boatload of RAM and a boatload of SSD storage. That's probably at this time reasonably what you can buy, but I just don't feel like the 40 series offers that great value at the moment. I don't really think it ever did. The 4070 was alright, and the 4070 Ti was borderline alright in my opinion. 4080 was just terrible value. Lovely card. Like, nothing wrong with the card. It is a brilliant card. It's just priced wrong, I think. So my hope is maybe a 4080 Super or a 40... Apparently there's going to be a 4070 Super, which will be roughly where the 4070 Ti currently is, maybe a bit below. There's going to be a 4070 Ti Super, apparently, which is going to be roughly within, again this is all allegedly, within 10% of a regular 4080, but for 4070 Ti money. So that could be the one. That could be the one that I go for, because they're going to up the RAM, again allegedly, to 16 gig. But most importantly, they're going to put the RAM on the VRAM, 16 gigs of VRAM, on a 256-bit bus, which is very important. A lot of people overlook that, because currently they're on a 192-bit bus. When you're talking about 4K textures, that's not really enough. I think a lot of people get caught up with the amount of VRAM, but they forget to look at what the memory bus bandwidth is. 4070 Super, why do we need another one? 4070 Ti, yeah, I know, the naming is weird, isn't it? The 4070 Ti Super is weird, but at the same time it's like they've painted themselves into a bit of a corner. Yeah, I think really the cards aren't shifting, and there's going to be, to remain competitive with AMD, I suppose. So the card, I keep hearing about AMD that their GPUs, the next gen, is going to be not focused on the high end. Whether there's any truth to that, I don't know. So they're going to come out of RDNA 4 and only do like the lower tier cards and just ignore the high end this time around. I don't know. Seems like a funny rumour to me, but if the 4070 Ti Super is roughly the same price as the 4070 Ti now, but it increases the RAM to 16 gig, and it puts it on a 256-bit bus up from the current 192 on the 4070 Ti for about 800 quid. That would be a great little graphics card. Really nice graphics card, I think that. Not sure what you mean, O'Neill. Yeah, I would agree. 707, 4070 Super / TI Super. Maybe even a 5800X3D 707, because I could slot that straight into my existing motherboard and keep my RAM, which would like halve the upgrade price. I don't know if you saw that link earlier in the chat. I'll post it again just in case you missed it. Again, I can't understand what the site's really talking about unless I translate it. But to me it looks like... Hey Maxi! Happy days. It looks like they've revisited all the CPU performance for Flight Sim. And it's really interesting if you look at it, because the 5800X3D, there's not much between that and the 7800X3D in Flight Sim. Now there may be in other games of course, but yeah, it makes you think. Oh, you're on a 5600X too? Tricky. Yeah, me too. So yeah, my dilemma is, do I do... Oh, you speak German, 7 days. Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, if you could translate, that would be amazing. Obviously, I can just look at the graphs, but the rest of what they're saying was a bit lost on me, and the translate wasn't the greatest on my PC. Yeah, the dilemma is, do I just whack a 5800X3D in my motherboard and call it done? Or do I rip out the motherboard, rip out the RAM, do a whole new platform? Yeah, 4090s are getting expensive, Brian. It's because of there's an export ban into mainland China, I think, that's coming. So Nvidia aren't allowed to sell them into China, apparently something to do with like restricting China's ability to do AI or something, because of course they're really good AI cards. So I think what's happened is loads and loads and loads of AIBs, as in like your Gigabytes, your MSIs, your Asuses, those guys, have been selling as much as they can, I think, into Hong Kong, because then from Hong Kong apparently they can find their way into mainland China some way or another. Basically it means that it's all the available 4090s have been temporarily redirected, or a lot of them have, meaning there's less for us gamers. And as a result the price has gone up. But apparently Nvidia are delighted with that in a way, because listening to some of like the leaker channels on YouTube that talk about it in great detail, it would make the new supercards look like they're even better value. Hey Ashy! It's about 5800X3D is about 300, give or take a tenner, depending on the day, depending on where you buy it from. About 300 quid. And the 7800X3D isn't much more, it's like 370 I think was the price I last saw it at. But of course you then need a motherboard at like 170 to go with it, you then need DDR5 at like 100 odd quid to go with it. Before you know it, the whole platform cost is nearer to 650, which is double that of just whacking in a 5800X3D. The argument for going for the 7800X3D is that you've then got a platform with a bit more longevity. So if like the 8800X3D comes out and it is like the best chip ever for Flight Sim, well then you can just slot one of those in and you're good to go. And if you get another gen, like the 9800X3D, whether or not that will stay on AM5, it might be on AM6. I mean, I could maybe get, I don't know, 80 quid back for my 5600X on eBay. Don't know what they're selling for. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'll need DDR5 RAM, 707, that's right. Bevy! Is that another plane that's just whizzed past us? Goodness gracious. Looks to be about 100 quid you could get back. That was a bit on the close side, Bevy, wasn't it? Perhaps I shouldn't look out the window for so long. Probably not today, Tricky, no. What's so this is an interesting point to discuss then. So that plane felt like it was too close then. What would have been if you're on Unicom and there's two of you? Like what's kind of like the rule of thumb? Because I could be like, oh no, I better descend, and the other plane could be like, oh, I better descend, and then we're both doing the wrong thing. Cancel tell one plane to descend and the other to climb. Okay. Yeah, but I guess on the sim it would depend on how smart the plane is that you're in specifically. Right, it wants destination data. Okay, 1011. 6 degrees. It's pretty cold. What was that wind doing? 130 and 3. What is the minimap doing? That's a good question. I'm not sure the minimap fully understands what's going on. Let's lose it. There we go. So really the only thing to do is to keep an eye. I've got like map.vatsim open on another monitor. So I can see another plane coming in now actually on it. At our flight level. So if I get down to say 330, get out of his way. I think the minimap struggles with departures and arrivals. I think when it's in cruise it's generally okay. Right, so I'm descending now to flight level 330. We've already missed that plane anyway, so that's kind of pointless. Alright, we need to get some charts up quickly. That'll be the coast over there. Is that the coast of Cornwall? Cornwall down there. Yeah, so that's the thing. I don't really know what to do then about that on Unicom. I guess you just have to keep your eyes open on the map and predict when you might cross someone's path. I think that could prove to be quite a complex little thing. They should be different altitudes if they're coming towards you. Yeah, I mean, I chose my flight. I chose my altitude basically based on SimBrief. So I don't know. don't know. Maybe I'm at the wrong altitude. Because everyone else seems to be at 360, don't they? FPS hasn't felt too bad today. Yeah, it's holding steady. We'll see what it's like when we get into Bristol, because of course we've got a new airport. Even levels for westbound flights. And odd for eastbound flights. So am I correct? I am correct then, aren't I? Yeah. I guess it depends which part of the route you look at, but for the majority of my cruise I would have been a westbound flight. So 360 would have been right. Which I guess is why SimBrief would have said 360, which makes sense. So the other aircraft would, not that I'm trying to blame them, but would they have been at fault for being at 360 then? If they were coming at me from the other way? Alright, let's begin our descent into Bristol. Sorry, Tim, what were you saying 100% to? It looks like he was at 370, so was that 1,000 feet apart? Was that okay? Okay, so it just felt close even though it wasn't. But then there was that first one as well. we've got a speed constraint of 250 knots here. So this little purple dot here is at where the aircraft's going to start to decelerate. 345 Bevy. We're using the call sign X-Ray Alpha November 345. X-Ray Alpha November because that was the only one I could find that wasn't taken, that vaguely resembled the name of the airline. Okay, so no harm done then. "37 times. Blimey. Yeah, they are cracking down on ad blockers. Is it me or did this plane feel a little bit twitchy today? Sorry, just whacked my mic into the yoke. Yeah, tricky. I'll be flying again tomorrow, actually, hopefully. Same time, same bad channel. No, the overlay isn't from Volanta, it's from SimToolkit Pro. I mean, they're two very similar things, really. I am considering checking out Volanta, though. Okie dokie. Transition is 6,000 feet. Oh, I was swinging it around. I was sat somewhere different, Bevy, and I was swinging it back to the flying position but the mic is quite close to the yoke. I was considering actually getting a like a headset mic. Yeah, it's a tricky one with the ads, isn't it? It is a tricky one, because ultimately that is how I get paid. But it's annoying for people as well. I can see it from both sides. I thoroughly recommend YouTube Premium. I got that a few months ago and I just haven't looked back. It's really, really good. Obviously it gets rid of the ads. It also means on your phone you can use other apps while you watch YouTube. It puts it in like a little window on my iPhone and I can like use whatever else I'm doing on my phone. It doesn't just stop the video playing. If you're listening to like a podcast style thing or like a talking head video, you can just turn the screen off and it carries on playing. Also get YouTube Music, which is basically like Spotify. So yeah, I think it's a bargain really, considering what you get versus what you get with other stuff like Netflix. Okay, so I need to remember we're going to initiate the flare at about 30 feet and bring back the throttles to idle somewhere around there as well. Hopefully we'll get a half decent landing. Curious to see what the airport's going to be like, because of course we're using the Pilot Plus version of Bristol today. Alright, let's get lights on. Who said anything about flaring? Yeah, who needs to flare? No worries, Brian. Off to the other hobby. Sounds very nice indeed. So I think there's going to be an EasyJet ahead of us. You have to keep an eye out for that one. There it is.
Traffic. Traffic.
Let's get out of the way. We'll let EasyJet go first. Okay, so now we can do a direct to BRI, hopefully. Good. Yeah, so there's an EasyJet arriving from Amsterdam just ahead of us, so I think it's probably best if we get out of the way. In fact, there they are, just up there. That's not the one, is it? That's another plane. I thought that was the EasyJet up there. It's not. Oh wait, yes it is. Yeah, so that you can see the we're just coming around to the airfield now. EasyJet was just up there. Don't know where they are now, mind. So we'll let EasyJet go first. We will get out of the way. Okay. Let's get down to 2,500 feet. Yeah, I was getting a little bit disoriented then. To a manual speed of 185. Still not entirely sure where that EasyJet plane went. No, baby, I haven't. Hey, Guernsey. Ah, there they are. Look, they're around the corner. Don't know if we'll be able to see them. Yeah, there they are, look. On final. QNH indeed. Well done, Tricky. Speed 180. Geneva to Gatwick, very nice. Cruising at flight level 30. Okie dokie. Let's make a call, shall we?
2,500.
Gear down. To brake medium. Bristol traffic, X-ray Alpha November 345 on a 5-mile final, runway 09. Got the gear, Bevy, don't worry. Thought that was someone taking off towards me then. It is, isn't it? Is that someone actually flying, or is that someone on the taxiways? Right, let's see what this this airport's like, shall we? I have control.
1,000.
See if I can land the Phoenix after all this time, eh? It all comes down to this.
100 above. Minimum.
Continue.
One 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Whoa! That was a bounce. Blimey, that was a bounce. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Probably should have been a go around that. Blimey. What are my rudders doing? Okay, my rudder pedals feel broken. That's not right at all. Bristol traffic, X-ray Alpha November 345, cleared runway 09. Whew, that was not the greatest. Ah, are all these aircraft static as part of the scenery? Bet they are, aren't they? We should look at our taxi charts for Bristol. Okay, let's go to... What stand do we go to? Tell you what, let's go to... Let's go to stand number 2, shall we? Bristol traffic, X-ray Alpha November 345, taxiing to stand 3 via Zulu. Ah, that was a horrific landing. I need some practice in this thing. So this would be us in here, right? Stand 3. Yeah. I dread to think what the feet per minute was on that landing. That was really bad though. I'm surprised it was that bad. Tell you what we'll do. we haven't got time for another flight, but we have got time for some landing practice with FSI panel, which might not be the worst idea. "450 feet per minute," so it was firm. It was definitely a firm one. So who have we got coming in? "707" still a while away yet. I think what I'm going to do is disconnect from VATSIM and we'll do some landing practices, shall we? Right, disconnected. Right, tell you what we'll do first. Let's lose stats. See you later, Tricky. Cheers. Now we've disconnected. What? Let's do the replay as well. So it's all going to go weird for just a second.
Terrain.
There we go.
Speed, speed, speed.
Let's get a view from the passenger's perspective, shall we? See quite how terrible that really was. It's not looking too terrible at the moment. It's looking fairly stable. I think it's just... Is it that kink in the runway? I don't know. Oh, here we go. Oh, that was a proper bounce, wasn't it? Flared at 20 feet a little bit late. Possibly, yeah. Let's try it from this view again. God, yeah, it's a mile off. That was hideous. Oh well. Alright, where's FSI panel? Love FSI panel. Ugh. Hold the line callers. Alright, we're back. So, let's stop the replay. Runway, let's do 09 again. And we'll do a short final, move the aircraft. We will get a good landing today, if it kills us. Okay, so it's just preparing it all for us. I love FSI panel. If I get a bad landing on stream, I can just be like, and now let's do some FSI panel, so at least we get one good one under our belt eventually. The thing is, with these aircraft, they take so much to configure. You almost need a tool like this to allow you to have this kind of practicing ability. Here we go. It's fairly easy, Bevy. In fact, I would say it's harder flying without one, to be perfectly honest. So we're going to flare a little bit earlier this time and hope that we don't bin it. There we go.
1,000.
I think in a lot of ways you're better off sometimes to do a approach from further out, because it gives you, if the plane does position itself in a bit of a weird way, it gives you time to correct for that. Alright, so we're too high. Down you go.
$500. $100.
Flight slow.
40, 30, 20, retard. 5.
That was a bit better. Very lumpy bumpy runway here at Bristol though, isn't it? Not quite on the centre line. What did FSI panel have to say about that? Do we get a landing report? Yes we do. Landing distance. Good. Deviation from centre line, very good. Touchdown rate of descent, 80 feet per minute. Get in. Not bad. Right, let's go again. Let's hold the brakes for 3 seconds, then we can take control. That is a nasty little bump in the runway though, isn't it, coming in from 09? Maybe I should do a stream later on where all we do is just practice in the Phoenix, just doing this.
2,500.
Go on then, Bevy, what is it? Touch on the high side. Hopefully recover that though. We're going to go too low now if we're not careful. Too high.
500.
Light slow.
40, 30, 20, retard. 5.
Still get that bounce, don't you? It's that little lump in the runway. And there. What a horrible runway. Well, that was much better. That was much better. Let's try it one more time before I go. I've got time for one more. Right, here we go. Let's see the landing report from that one. Very good, very good, very good, very good. Perfect. That's what we like. So let's change it to runway 27. See if it's any different that time. You landed with a bounce too. Yeah, I think it's the bump in the runway. If you look on like Wikipedia about Bristol Airport, apparently it's the thing that like pilots always talk about it. I just can't believe that. You think if you're going to build an airport, job number one is make a flat runway. Oh, cheers, Bevy. Did you ask your question, Bevy? I don't know. I didn't see it in the chat. Oh, what is an ILS? You already asked it. Sorry. Instrument landing system. Think of it like a little radio beam that gets shot out from the end of the runway and the plane can track it all the way down. That's basically what it is. Sorry, I missed your question there, mate. Okay, so we're coming at it from the other direction this time. Yeah, I've heard about Birmingham too. 91 feet per minute. Damn, Spuds.
2,500.
You did better than us. We're now getting the practice in. Alright, hold the brakes for 3 seconds. So let's try 2.7, see if 2.7's any nicer. If the lumps are at the other end. I just find it weird that runways have lumps. It's like, guys, you're landing planes at high speed on them. No lumps are allowed. Like, get the old theodolites out and flatten that runway. That first one there was a bit of a crash bang and a wallop, wasn't it? I really do think, and I really think this is true, sometimes the pressure of the stream can get to you. Especially if you know there's a few people watching, you think, oh no, don't mess it up, and then while you're thinking, oh no, don't mess it up, you're actually not concentrating on what you should be concentrating on. But even then, on those last two landings that we did on FSI panel, that I would say were pretty good, by my own standards, even then you could feel like the plane really wanted to bounce, even though we got a 5 call out, which generally means you're on for a good one. Let's see if runway 27's any kinder to us. A little bit on the low side.
$500.
That's me moving the throttle levers. Gripping them a bit too hard. $100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard. Of course, you end up going uphill on this way, don't you? What was a landing report on that? I think what I didn't account for then was the fact that the runway was actually heading uphill. So of course it came at us a bit quicker. Close to a hard landing, yeah. Everything else was good. Okay, with that in mind, let's do one more. We'll do a short final. Yeah, everything else was good, I think, 707. It's just the fact that I didn't quite account for the fact that it was going to be on a hill. So really, I think I needed to flare a little bit more to account for the ground rising under us. It's interesting, you know, like, I remember starting out on VATSIM, once I did one flight and I read the charts, okay, I was like, well, I can just do any airport in the world now. Of course, actually, a local knowledge goes a heck of a long way. Again, like at Bristol, kind of just knowing that on runway 27, the ground's coming up towards you. Runway 09, you've got that bump at the other end. All that stuff, it kind of plays into it, you know. Hey, grey shirt! So we've had a very hard landing in Bristol, which was like our proper landing for the whole flight. And because I was grumpy about that, we're now doing landings in FSI panel, trying to get better in the Fenix.
1,000.
So we're using the Bristol scenery from Pilot Plus, I believe it is. Let's just get ourselves on the glide slope. Yes, I know. So yeah, coming into Bristol from runway 09, there's a nasty little bump in the runway. And of course, coming in from 27, the runway actually runs uphill, which I think made our landing a bit harder, our last landing a bit harder than it otherwise would have been. Let's get ourselves lined up a little bit here. Nice bit of glare on the windshield as well. Okay, that's better. It's too bad that it doesn't line you up perfectly, FSI panel, on the glide. At the start you almost have to self-correct. Okay, so we need to flare more this time, because of course the runway runs uphill. A bit of a crosswind component, but not really. Where's our call-outs gone?
$40, 30, 20, retard. 5.
Yeah, that's better. That is a proper hill, isn't it? Look at that. I was flaring way more than I thought I needed to then. But as it turned out, because of the hill, that was absolutely the right thing to have done, I think. Let's check the landing report. Yeah, much better. 129 feet per minute. Centre line. Yeah, we weren't quite on the touchdown markers. Centre line was good. Rate of descent was good. Yeah. So I think really the lesson there is local knowledge goes a heck of a long way. It really, really does. Because again, I think I completely forgot the fact that Bristol was on a hill and it's got that nasty little bump in the runway when we came in for our first landing. And I think basically we paid the price for that. Now we were approaching the airport with that local knowledge in mind. I think we got a much better result. Right, let's taxi back and it'll give us a chance to take a look at the terminal from this direction as well. Oh, great show, you're back to work. Gutted. You're probably up on a hill at Bristol as well, aren't you? So let's see if this was £9 well spent. I think it was £9. PMDG update out today. Nice. I'll fly that tomorrow then. Run back to the safety of the 737 after the Phoenix. Okay. That was a bit of a bump there. Not sure that's exactly how it is in real life because I've been on this taxiway before and I don't recall it being like that. Yeah, it's very high. 707. I've flown out of here a few times in real life. It's even when you drive the car up to the airport, you're climbing a hill most of the way up. Here we go. Look. So if we park down here on the left, this is generally where your EasyJets and your Ryanairs hang out. It always takes about an hour to walk to the gate. It's like, this is like a massively long corridor from the main departure lounge. Another little bump there. Let's go on a little bit further. Let's try and park in one of these. Nice little airport though, Bristol. If you get the opportunity to fly out of it, it's yeah, it's alright. I like Bristol. So let's go in here, shall we? Got to sort these rudder pedals out. I feel like my sensitivities are all off for these rudder pedals. I really do. I tell you what. It's not looking too bad. Yeah, that looks pretty... That looks like Bristol to me. That is pretty on the money. Because normally you would go into like these little bits here at the bottom are like the gates. So generally, I seem to recall having to like hoof it along from the main departure area, which I believe is somewhere around here. You have to sort of walk along this massive corridor. It seems to take forever. And then when you finally reach your gate, you're on the first floor. You go down the steps to one of these gate areas, and then they kind of walk you out across the tarmac. What have they got? You got the multi-storey car park across the way there. The car park there. This is all looking fairly accurate. There's a little short stay drop-off car park. It's not bad. Let's load up my Xbox controller a minute. I'll go into the drone cam. Yeah, let's keep default. Thank you. Let's do a little bit of sightseeing of Bristol while we're here. Ah. Okay. I just wanted to use the drone camera, but that's fine. Free camera drone. So I should be able to move around now. Yes, I can. Yeah, so that's the little drop-off car park. There's the multi-storey car park. Let's turn that down. Not sure what that is. Is that maybe a hotel? Don't know what's going on there. Yeah, that is a multi-storey car park, isn't it? This is the gold parking, where if you pay, you can drop your car off here. Obviously, you've got your main terminal building there. And then where's the silver parking? Isn't that over here? Yeah. Yeah, so this area over here is where if you want to save a few quid, you can park your car here and then you bus it across along this road. A little shuttle bus comes and brings you in. It's not bad though, that scenery. It's not bad. I mean, I feel like the road textures could maybe be a bit better. I feel like this is just whatever has been pulled out of Google Maps or Google Earth. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Have they done the inside? Yeah, okay, this looks very much like the airport. Okay, so this bit hasn't been done. This is a new bit, I think, because you can go through here and there's more check-in desks. But yeah, 2E, EasyJet. You got WH Smith out down? Yeah, of course you have. Out of stock. And I think through there is where, or this bit here, is where you walk out once you've gone through immigration. Let's just slow my camera down a minute, because I'm conscious I might be making you all feel a bit sick. That's better. So then it's up the stairs to security. I don't know if that coffee shop was there. I think this was all boarded off when I went through for like COVID stuff, for like COVID tests. That was like the COVID testing area. Yeah. All these bins, then you go through security. This is pretty good. I'm quite impressed. I do question the overall utility of having the inside of the airport modelled. I'd much rather they put 100% of their effort into the outside, the bit that we're actually going to see from the plane. I mean, all of this is lovely, but I know we're doing it now on video, but then it's a left turn, isn't it, after security? No, it isn't. Yes, it is. It's a left turn. This hall is a bit bigger as well, I think. I think this hall kind of extends through this wall a bit more. Not sure. Could be wrong. And then you go down this way, I think, into the departure lounge. I don't know where we are now. We're in the upstairs. What? Yeah, I don't know. I think we're in the upstairs of the main, because you've got the shopping downstairs. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so it is a little bit sparse, really. The duty-free area would be, I think you come out of the duty-free area like here, and then you're sort of met with the the lounge. I mean, all this is empty. This is all like more chairs, I think. And the toilets are up there. This is all from my memory. I could be totally wrong. What's through the wall? Aha. No. I don't know. Don't know. I mean, it looks pretty good though. Like, I'm being a bit picky. It's probably fair to say. So can you walk to the gates then? Because it's usually from up here that you start walking to the gates, I think. Like here, for example, you would head to your gate and go across this little bridge or something. Yeah, here we go. This is like the gates area. Yeah. All things considered, I would say that's pretty good. And obviously these gates would go on and on and on and on, sort of down this winding corridor. And it takes forever to walk. Wait, have they got the bit where you come back through immigration? Because that's through... Where's that through? Isn't that through here? Fairly certain you go down here. They walk you down along here. I can't remember. It might be in through here. No. Yeah, I think immigration bit is... Yeah, I just think that's just not been modelled, has it? Yeah. Ah, fair enough. It'd be a bit of a weird thing to model. May even be legal reasons why they can't. Well, I forget what I paid for that. I think it was 8 or 9 euros. Can't honestly remember. But it's nice to have, I think from my point of view, it's nice to have all the gates clearly marked. And obviously the terminal buildings are a bit nicer as well from airside. It's not a bad effort, that. Not a bad effort. But yeah, those kinks in the runways. I mean, you can just see how uphill that runway's running. That just surprises me that airports are allowed to be built like that. You would think one of the prerequisites would be a completely flat runway if you want to build an airport. You're like, hey airport people, I've got this great place for an airport. Alright, great. Is it flat? Well, no, not really, but it's near enough. So, well, probably can't have an airport there then, can you? But it seems that you can. Yeah, I think that's basically what I want it for, taxiways and gates, because if we're going to be on VATSIM, we want to have the actual stuff in front of us. That's quite nice, that. 2 thumbs up. Anyway, it is now 1:30. It's definitely lunchtime. Thank you all so much for this morning and / this afternoon. It's been a lovely bit of fun. I thank you all very much for your time, and sorry about that first landing. But, you know, these things happen. I will hopefully be back tomorrow. Same time, I think. But I will try and schedule that for you so you all know when it's going to be. Until then, take the very best care of yourselves, and I will hopefully see